morning. It's Friday, November 24th, 2023. My name is Terry Morgan, and we are here to practice Wudang Qigong. We have the advanced sets this morning, sets 10 through 18. We're going to work on a selection of maybe 2 or 3 of those. I have a couple of announcements to make and a little bit more discussion of this idea of perspective. So, announcements. I wish I had more year. It's the end of November already. I need 2 more months, 3 more months in this year before I don't have them. Alright, so with that idea in mind, I have been doing some planning. I've been talking in this class about future and what to do next, and what we have as foundation, what we develop today, and what we look forward to. That is something that I've been working on, what to look forward to. What am I going to do next? I've been not as regular with my class times as I would like to be, partly because I've been wrestling with what to do next. What is the next thing that I'm going to present? What are we going to do now? That idea that I've come to class, I'm the teacher, I'm the one that has to figure that out. I did. I'm happy about that. So, what's going to happen, today we're going to practice Wudang Qigong advanced sets. Next week, next Friday, we are going to practice Wudang Qigong advanced sets on Friday. On Thursday, next week, Wudang Qigong foundation sets. On Wednesday next week, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the sense of perspective, and I'm going to present a little bit on that today and a bit more next week. Beginning the first week of December, not next week, the week after, new schedule. Wednesday, I'm going to restart Xingyi, and what I will be doing is presenting some material as review and using some of the time that I'm not going to be teaching on Monday and Tuesday to collect what I've already recorded for Xingyi so that it's easier to access. And I'm going to look at what's there to see what else needs to be there. I've presented the movements. I've not presented a lot on the internal workmanship other than to talk about it and say, yeah, you need to do this. So there's part of that. On Thursday, I'm going to work on Tai Chi. And we're going to pay attention first to Yang style Tai Chi. Same concept. I will be reviewing and collecting material that I've already recorded, adding to that with commentary as well as additional material. So if I see where there's something that I need to talk about, or I need to show, or we need to repeat, I'm going to go back through that so that at the end of, it will be several weeks, there will be a nice collected archive with the notes that I've intended to write but haven't written yet, and all of the other things that need to be there. Alright, on Friday, Wudang Qigong, and I'm going to start over with set 1. We will pay attention to the exercise itself. We're going to pay attention to what's in Professor Liu's book, the new one that I just republished, that is now available. So previously, one of the reasons that I didn't pay attention to here's what he wrote, and here's what we do, and here's how we practice, and all of that, is that first, that book was not available to you. It wasn't available. It was out of print. It had been out of print for several years. It wasn't available. Now it is. Second thing is that even as I'm presenting the exercises that he has written down, that he taught me, I am adding my own skills, my own perspective, and my own abilities to that. So not only am I teaching what he taught, I'm teaching what I teach, which is a combination of things that I've learned as well as things that I learned from him. So things that I learned elsewhere, I learned a bunch of stuff over here. And things that I learned from him, I learned a whole bunch from him too. So I combine both of those. That's what I'm presenting. As we go back through the exercises one by one, I'm also going to pay attention to this idea of development. That here's the practice, here's where we start, here's what we're looking for, here's how we develop that practice, and here are some of the things to pay attention to. That process is what we want to have for each exercise. It takes years. We're going to spend a few weeks. I'm going to go through it in a few weeks. Okay, I've already spent years with some of the recordings, and with that in mind, what I hope to accomplish with this new schedule, and there will be transitions as we go forward, but with this new schedule, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, starting with Xingyi, progressing to Bagua, progressing to Dragon Sword on Wednesday. Thursday, Tai Chi, beginning with Yang style Tai Chi. That's going to take a while. And we'll progress through that to, we'll see what happens. It may be Wudang style Tai Chi. It may turn out that I put Wudang style Tai Chi after Wudang Qigong. That is a possibility. And as I do that, I will be collecting everything that I have, trying to bring it all together. It's something I've been working on, but I've now figured out, I've now got a plan, right? That idea that this is what we're working on, I have a plan, this is where we're going, this is how we're going to get there. That idea sets up a whole other level of conversation and discussion that, yeah, okay, we're going to do something, does not allow for. We're going to do something, okay, what are we going to do? Yeah, we're going to do something. That level of practice, just showing up, I'm going to practice whatever we're going to do, I'm going to show up, I'm going to do something. Okay. That is the foundation for everything else. If we're not going to show up, if we're not going to work on something, what would you, right? You won't make any progress if you don't show up. Having a general idea of what we're going to do next, having a plan that is, and I'm going to stress this, it needs to be flexible. So I spread this out over about 2 years. I might be able to get done sooner. There's several things I'm going to try and work on. I'm actually going to work on today. And as I do that, I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out how quickly how effectively I can do some of the things that I'm put on my list. This is what I want to accomplish over the next 2 years. What I'd like to have is a full library that includes all of the pictures, all of the videos, all of the text that I've collected and written, along with materials that Professor Liu wrote, that he's given permission to republish. That archive is going to fit in a little box with terabytes of storage. It's going to fit in a little box. And when I get everything in that little box, it'll be done. And it will be a very nice library with all sorts of details about everything that I've spent all these years learning. And that's where I'm going for today's lesson. That's kind of my point. What are you willing to do? So here's the library. This is what I'm going to work on. This is the new schedule. Now, let's start with talking about what are we going to do today. Today, I want to talk just a little bit about what you're willing to do. That perspective is how you advance. That's how you develop your skills. That's how you advance. That's how you become that future that you want to achieve. What are you willing to do? I'm going to put this down when we get started. What are you willing to do? You want to learn. What are you willing to do for it? You're here. I appreciate that. Thank you. But that's not the question. What are you willing to do in order to learn to the level that you want to learn? In my early training, the level was set by practitioners from China and Japan. That was the level. Highly athletic, extremely well developed. The skill was apparent, and there was a bit of mystique about the training to get to that level of skill. I wanted to learn. I went to China in 1990. I found a teacher. I learned. I can think of all sorts of things. And in fact, I'm remembering quite a few times when I was walking along the street, going to the park early in the morning, and somebody was cooking for their restaurant to get breakfast ready. The smells and the sounds of those streets is something that will remain with me forever. That perspective. What are you willing to do for it? All right, I was in China. It was winter. It was cold outside. I had a hat pulled down over my ears. I had a scarf. I had a coat. I had a sweater. I'm walking as fast as I can to get to the park so I can take off my hat, my coat, and my sweater. Might keep the scarf. I might keep the sweater too. Depends. But I'm going to take off the coat. I'm going to hang it up. I'm going to take off the hat, probably. Maybe. Depends how cold it is. And we're going to practice every day. Were you there at 6 a.m. to go practice? I know some people who were. That perspective, that what am I willing to do? You know, show up. Where do I have to show up? Well, there's that. All right? The level of practice, particularly at that time, is not the same as it is today. It's not. That level of practice, China 1990, and whatever I saw, most of what I saw in the U.S. at that time, not everything, perspective here, most, not all, had nowhere near the same level. This is MBA up here, WMBA up here. This is the level. This is what I was seeing. Being in a group of people where the level of practice is higher, the standard of practice is higher, that what you're expected to be able to do is more than. That's how we develop the skill. And that's basic stretch here. I'm going to get started. Bend the knees, wiggle the toes, wiggle the fingers, hands circle to the front. I'm going a little bit fast. Yes, I am. Up along the center line. Reach out. Stretch out over the legs. Bend the knees. And again. One more time. Roll through the body. Extend through the legs. Make sure and bend the knees. Get everything nice and loose and warmed up. All right. With this idea level, right here, that's a level. Okay. Front leg about 45 to the ground, 45-degree angle. My knees in correct position. It's a good Tai Chi stance, right? Back foot's at 45, front foot straight. Okay. If I sink lower, I can. I really want to extend this leg a little bit more to go lower. Now I'm closer to 90. Let me work my way down. There we go. And check the back leg here. All right, that was fully extended. 90 degrees. I don't move in and out of that position all that well. I could develop that. Part of that development is through the hip. So it's a lot of holding strength across the hip and to pull up so that the legs can extend. Part of it is the extension itself. So the more flexible the leg is, a lot more stretching, a lot more development of that muscle group, those muscle groups, the smaller muscles inside the hip as well as the muscles that attach through the groin and up into the upper part of the leg. Okay, so that's a big part of what has to work, that has to hold. What has to sustain the body is the upper body and the back. As we develop that skill, we can use it. Am I ever going to use that level of extension in an application? Probably not. It's not good for me. It doesn't put me in an advantageous position mostly. And that difference, am I going to use it? Might I need it? If I have it, can I use it? Yeah. If I don't have it, I can't use it. Is it something that is going to give me an advantage? Yeah, body flexibility is always an advantage. Is it something that I'm going to work at? Yeah, maybe. Some of it, not all of it. With that in mind, we're going to pay attention to two sets, Coiling Snake and Stirring the Grass to Seek the Snake. Both have this up and down movement. You knew I was going where. You had to know that I was going there. You had to. Alright, both have this up and down movement. Both have a turning through the waist and the hip to open the hip and help support the upper body as you extend the leg. So we want to separate the leg. It's quite literal. Separate the leg from the hip so the leg moves independently. In the hip socket, it's not, your leg doesn't start down here, your leg's up here. As we turn, pay attention to those small muscles, pay attention to holding through the back and through the center. Pay attention also to that twist as we go up and down. Coiling Snake. Breathe in. And breathe out. Turn to your left. I'm on my right. And twist. Sink. Come back up. Center. Breathe in. Stay centered. Breathe out. You go to your right. I'm on my left and twist. And come on up. Pay attention to the breath. Pay attention to centering as we move. Stay in the center and turn. Keep the movement as simple as possible. Keep the hips square and aligned with the shoulders. Each time we stay in the center, focus on that center. So that as we sink, as we turn around that center. No leaning. Keep going. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Stay centered. Open the back. Breathe in. Breathe out. Keep the hips open as you turn. Two more. Breathe in. And breathe out. And breathe in. Breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Last time, breathe in. Breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. And breathe in. Breathe out. Stay centered. Breathe in. Palms up. Breathe out. Press down on both sides. Pull up through the crown of the head. Raise the heels and lower. Breathe in. Breathe out. Stirring the grass to seek the snake. Turn. I turn to my left. You turn to your right. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. Open. And come back to center. Breathe in. And breathe out. Turn. 1, 2, 3. Open. Come back to center. Breathe in. Breathe out. Pay attention to how far you extend your leg and how well supported you are over your holding leg. 1, 2, 3. Don't lean. I was leaning, don't lean. Stay centered. And turn. I wasn't leaning that time. Stay centered, breathe in. And breathe out. Turn. 1, 2, 3. Maybe I wasn't leaning, but my foot's stuck. Happens. Breathe in. Breathe out. And turn. 1, 2, 3. Open. And come on up. Breathe in. Breathe out. And breathe in. Breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. Stay centered. Breathe in. Breathe out. 2 more. 1, 2, 3. Open. Come back to center. Stay centered. Breathe in. Breathe out. Turn. Relax the breath. Open the back. Pay attention to the hip. Last time. Turn. 1, 2, 3. Open. Come on up. Stay centered. And turn. 1, 2, 3. Open. And come on back up. Stay centered. Breathe in. Breathe out. Press down along both sides. Pull up through the crown of the head. Raise the heels and lower. Stay there. Breathe in. Breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. Little bit of momentum to carry the movement out. We can use that to a certain extent to return to that center position. You still have to have enough strength in your holding leg to do it. Alright? It's just, that's just the way it goes. Alright, as you turn, here, 1, 2, 3. No. It'll make you think that you're close to the ground, but you're not. Not really. Alright? We don't want to do that. for several reasons. One is that we are paying attention to not a dramatic rendition of something, but to an idea that there is a martial application behind this. And my duck in my head like that is a offer for you to do something to me. I'm not going to offer that. It's not going to happen. Alright, so don't do that. As you open here, right? So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. The momentum from this turn can carry part of that opening. I didn't go all that low. I was about 45, right? So you saw my back. I checked that. It was straight. That's the idea. The up and down happens through the hip and the leg being able to move independently. Not how much we can lean forward. Neither one of these exercises should have any leaning. There's a little bit of a tilt that's necessary in order to support the weight through the leg over the foot. If you're all the way down, there's just a little bit, not a lot, a little bit of an angle that's necessary so that the weight is centered. It's almost imperceptible in someone who's practiced this going up and down extensively. It's almost imperceptible. I wish I was that good. I'm going to work on it. There are some additional sets that I will be working on as we work on the Tai Chi sets, as I review some of what I have, and I want to make sure that I capture all of the things that I had intended to record. If I haven't got it recorded yet, it's time to do it now. If I haven't brought those materials together yet, it's time to do it now. And this sort of combination of discussion with practice, with an additional level of practice, is something that I absolutely want to introduce. We have basic things, the 2 sets we did today. Basic set, feet about shoulder width apart. Coiling Snake, palms up on the left, twist down to the right, keep the body straight. Yeah, that's all good. It's not the full extent of the movement. It's not. It goes all the way down. I'm not going to go all the way down because I'm not ready for that just yet. Yeah, I'm close. I'm getting closer. All right, but during the exercise, you saw me here. I'm getting closer, I told you. Yeah, I am getting closer. And come up and turn. And come on back up. All right, that goes all the way down. Now, my being able to do that is more practice. That level of practice, that perspective, is what I started this class talking about. That my perspective comes from having my experience in what I've done and how I've trained and what I've seen. And my perspective is that this is fine. To mark the exercise, to try to understand the basic movements, to develop the basic coordination for the movements. You've just started, haven't ever done anything else, you need to develop that. Alright? Once you get past that, once you get some sense of I can now connect the breath, I can now do a couple more things. Now we need to introduce some other ideas, that just getting the breath connected, that just getting the internal work, the internal circles, the lower Tantien, the middle Tantien, the upper Tantien, all of the points and meridians along the small heavenly circle, being able to move the chi in the tiny heavenly circle, the large heavenly circle, getting all of that, there's more. There's more. Next, right? That idea that we may have discovered something at a certain level, and we learn a little bit more, and we develop our skills, and we learn a little bit more, and there's another level that we can achieve, something more that we can look forward to, something else beyond what we have today. That idea is what took me to China in the first place. And that idea that there is a different level of practice, that there is a different level of skill that's expected. My example is the WNBA and the NBA. There's a different level of skill that's expected at that level to even go try out than there is for the pickup game at your local gym. Your willingness to go there and play is enough. That's not enough for the NBA or the WNBA. It's not. It's really not. That difference is in part what determines your level of practice. If you never see what that level might be, if you never see how common it is, because of environment, because of living conditions, because of people who have decided this is what they want to do, and they're going to go do it, right? That level is part of what I try to compare with. I'm not, there's people that are way better than me at doing the same kinds of things that I'm doing. Many of them were my classmates. Right? That idea that there's some things that other people can do as well as I can or better than I can. The flying jump kick. Professor Liu, I think, can still do that. I have to check him on that if he would want to try it. I know a couple of the older students that could still do it. I do. That real world experience has an influence, has a very strong influence on my practice today and on the kinds of things that I teach. I could be giving this little, I could be doing something here and it'd be fine and you'd never know. That's not why I'm here. That's not why I'm here. Alright, I'm going to stop for today. I have a story to work on. And I'm really excited that I've decided I'm going to try and get the story ready to go to an editor this month. December. It's fingers crossed I'm going to get it done. Wish me luck. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I'll be back next week, Wednesday. Foundations and Future. Thursday, Wudang Qigong, Foundation sets 1 through 9. Friday, Advanced sets. We change to the new schedule the first week of December. Thank you.